English and German scholars at the time noted the absence of written records from those 5 centuries, and of visible archaeological remnants. Part of the reason why the name stuck for most of the 20th century was the lavish eras that preceded and succeeded the geometric era. The Mycenaean Greeks lived in large palatial complexes throughout southern Greece, and presided over a wealthy, sophisticated civilization, with commercial ties throughout the Mediterranean. The classical Greeks built incredible architectural feats, such as the Parthenon, and lived under complex city-state political structures. The two epochs also had their own writing, the Linear B script for the Mycenaeans and the Greek alphabet for the classical Greeks. The geometric Greeks did not have a fully developed writing system, though the roots of the Greek alphabet were planted at this time. It is this initial scarcity of archaeological evidence and the permanent lack of historical materials that gave the Dark Age its shadowy name. Intriguingly, the archaic and classical age Greeks of the 8th to 5th centuries BCE did not believe that their ancestors from centuries earlier had lived in a Dark Age. Instead, their mythology was filled with tales of heroic migrations and the founding of new cities across Hellas by their descendants in the aftermath of the famous Trojan War. As more archaeological research was conducted in Greece and other parts of the world where Greeks lived, the views of the ancients and the moderns began to converge. It is now much more common to view the geometric age as a time of profound political and cultural transition, during which the Mycenaean world declined and a new one rose in its place. The other name for the period, the geometric age, refers to the ornate designs that adorn its pottery. Many typical ancient Greek designs, such as the square wave pattern known as the maiander, most likely originated during this period in Greece itself. It is this pottery that has provided the chronology for this unique part of Hellenic history, making the name geometric a rather fitting one for the age. With this in mind, we can begin our journey through this transient stage of Hellas's odyssey through time. The geometric age of Greece begins roughly in the 1100s BCE, when the previous iteration of the civilization was in decline. The Mycenaean Greeks were a powerful society that lasted from the 1500s to 1200s BCE. They are known for elaborate bronze armor and weapons, as well as palatial centers from which elites managed the surrounding territories through what was probably a state-controlled economy. Their decline in the 1200s BCE was long understood as part of the Bronze Age collapse, a term used to describe the supposedly sudden decline in social complexity among civilizations such as the Hittites across the eastern Mediterranean. The idea of collapse has been questioned by many scholars, but it is undeniable that social upheaval occurred across parts of Greece at this time. Many reasons have been put forward for this chaos: climate change, earthquakes, and the famous Dorian descent. The latter is an idea that migrants speaking the Dorian dialect of ancient Greek moved south with their iron weapons and destroyed the Mycenaeans. However, this theory is little more than conjecture. The destruction seen in Mycenaean palaces is thus probably due to internal conflict. Two major paradoxes emerge when archaeologists examine the period's material culture. One is the possible connection between many Greek populations and the infamous Sea Peoples, seafarers whose raids contributed to the havoc at the end of the Bronze Age. It is likely that some Greeks who left their homeland amid upheavals joined these roving bands. The other paradox is the uneven nature of destruction in mainland Greece. Some palatial centers, such as those in Messenia in the southern Peloponnese and Mycenae itself, were ultimately abandoned. Others, like the eastern Peloponnese and the Ionians, not only survived but thrived during this time. As we can see, the decline of the Mycenaeans was uneven, chaotic, and sometimes still shrouded in mystery. This kaleidoscope of paradoxes would continue well into the geometric age. Perhaps the most important development of the geometric age is the large-scale Greek migrations documented in the archaeological record of surrounding regions, such as Asia Minor and Cyprus. Indeed, despite the apparent chaos of the 1100s, the geometric age actually saw trade in Hellas continue. What did change was the location of many craftspeople. The upheavals in Greece caused people to seek their luck elsewhere in the Mediterranean. Thus began the so-called first wave of colonization in ancient Greek history, which lasted for a couple of centuries. The Greeks chose numerous destinations for colonization, many of which they had known of since the Bronze Age. The two best-known examples of Greek migrations at this time are Asia Minor and Cyprus. Both were known to the Mycenaean Greeks, as pottery from the 1300s BCE has been found at archaeological sites in the region. But the tough times that many in eastern Greece experienced only increased population moves in Asia Minor and Cyprus. Many cities that would later become important parts of the Greek world, such as Miletos, Smyrna, and Ephesus, were likely first settled by Greek migrants at this time. Greek speakers across all dialectic groups are attested to have participated in these migratory missions, as Dorian, Ionian, and Aeolian speakers colonized different parts of the western shores of Asia Minor. Hellenism became a fundamental pillar of the multicultural Anatolian lands from then on, until the tragic expulsion of Greeks from Turkey in 1923. The island of Cyprus was partially affected by the upheavals of the Bronze Age, but became even more economically productive in the Geometric Age. Trade with the Near East and Sardinia increased at this time, drawing Greek specialists to Cyprus, where they produced replicas of popular Greek wares. These Greeks were joined by Phoenicians and coexisted with the local Atteo-Cypriot population. At some point during this period, the famous city kingdoms of Cyprus emerged, merging Levantine god-king and Greek hero-king ideologies within their local priest-kings. The Greek Cypriot community's origins lie in this period, and it has coexisted with other ethnic and religious groups until the modern era. Following the pattern of transitions, the Geometric Age saw a transition in the political and mercantile life of Greece. Trade in the 1000s to 900s BCE is evident in the growth of several ports in Hellas. For instance, Lefkandi, a site on the large island of Euboea, was a regional mercantile hub. Cemeteries from the 1000s to 800s BCE show artifacts stemming from trade in the Levant and Cyprus. The site existed since the Bronze Age and remained relatively prosperous throughout the Geometric period, only declining after the rise of Eretria in the 800s BCE. Besides the locations of some important ports, what else changed in the parts of Geometric Greece that saw upheavals at the end of the Bronze Age? In a word, political economy. Archaeologists assume the Mycenaean palaces were sites of significant wealth and control over natural resources, as indicated by the shiny, expensive armor worn by the Palatian aristocracy. Whether these palaces had absolute control over the economy is unclear, but the Geometric Age saw the rise of merchants who acted independently of the erstwhile Bronze Age aristocrats. According to Andrew and Susan Sherratt, the upheavals in trade networks at the end of the Bronze Age led either to the rise of powerful managerial states or to individual merchants who could weather the chaos to survive it. These merchants are the foundation of Geometric Greece's economy, trading across the eastern Mediterranean. Indeed, the nature of political power in Greece underwent major change during the Geometric period. The former aristocrats who sang in the Homeric epics survived only in parts of Hellas that did not experience political upheaval. In the rest of Greece, many large palatial centres declined or were replaced by smaller nearby villages. Archaeological mapping in Attica shows that rather than a single large settlement, small settlements surrounding regional hubs were the norm in that rugged part of Hellenic land. It appears that the ancient Greeks rejected many aristocratic practices and focused on small communities with fragmented political authority. It was from these communities that some of the classical city-states of Hellas emerged. In northern Greece, the story is a bit different from the situation in the south. The Bronze Age saw no rise of large palatial complexes there, but during the Geometric Age, settlement growth is attested. By the Archaic Age, the predecessor of the Kingdom of Macedon would emerge in the region. Thus, the Geometric Age is an epoch of chaos forging itself into order.